folks. Well, I know I say this a lot, and I'm going to say it again because it's true, but this is so meta. Sometimes it's hard to wrap my head around some of these videos I want to make because it's like making a video about a video about a video, and it all gets very fractal, let's say. So bear with me as I try and wrap my head around this in such a way that I can explain it to you and you get some value and benefit from it, right? Because that's why you're watching. But here we have the video of last time loaded up in Descript, just to kind of bring you up to speed on where I'm at with this. It took some time to upload because it's like 5 gigabytes or something like that. I'm going to see what happens. Like, what I want to show on this video is how you can use Descript to actually be more productive, like more in line with the intention of the first video. Now, the first video did demonstrate that, yeah, you can cut down on your productivity time significantly, or increase your productivity, I guess is however you want to look at it. But basically, cut your production time in half, which is entirely doable. We saw the result. We got some feedback, right? This is worthy of a full screen because this is definitely worth emphasizing this one. My business partner, and if you get any advice from your business partner or anyone from that matter, for that matter, if it's positive or negative, you need to take that on board because that's what's going to help you improve and that's what's going to help you your business evolve. So that's crucial information. It's not get defensive and get butthurt about it. No, it's thank you so much for bringing that. And I get it. You know, it hurts the ego sometimes, but let the ego take a blow. It'll be fine. It'll survive, and you will be the better because your ego won't be in control, and you'll be able to accept this very valuable information that we need to hear. How else are you going to improve your product? Because, see, in our mind, we get in tunnel vision, right? And as the creatives, as the ones who are in the trenches, so to speak, like when you're too close to it, you can't see it. You can't make out the forest from the trees anymore. So it takes an outside person to say, hey, have you thought about maybe doing it? And Al is very tactful in that way, where he can bring the constructive criticism. And I know that even though at first sometimes some of the stuff hurts because it's like I put a lot of work into that, and he's like basically telling me sometimes to change the whole thing, but it doesn't matter how I feel about it. That's what needs to happen, and that's what sometimes will take a little bit of time to accept and to absorb, but it's for the greater good, right? And we both understand that and accept that, and that's why you should be able to not hold back for that kind of thing. Of course, do it gracefully and tactfully, but not keeping those things in and reserved because you're afraid of offending someone's work, or you can't just punch them on the shoulder and keep telling them all the time that they're doing great. There's some stuff that I have my own constructive feedback that I share with Al, and we usually will find a way, if not always, to meet in the middle and to compromise. That's what a good partnership's all about. So anyways, I wanted to see, can we, with Descript, do a decent job with the last recording that I made, which, just for anybody who's watching, and it's like you're going to be jumping into the matrix here, but where I was doing a video about a webinar that we produced, that I made a video about making a I'm not even going to be able to explain this, a webinar recording, Descript editing. We made a video about that so you can see how I do the process, which was basically remove the retakes. Descript does a fairly good job of knowing somehow what is a good take and what to keep in terms of takes. I don't know if it just keeps the last one. I'd have to do more research to understand how it does that with the algorithm, but it somehow knows, to keep the best take. How it evaluates that is to be determined. But then once that's done, that basically goes on to our second comp. And then from our second comp, we did edit for clarity, which removes filler words, digression, blather, etc., obvious cuts. It says obvious. Now, last time we also noted that there's levels of intensity here, and medium is pretty significant. Like I couldn't think of when you would want to do heavy. Maybe, as I said before, if there's no video involved and you're just doing like a PowerPoint presentation or something like that, there could be a case for doing that. But even at the medium level, it was just too much for this type of live event. Now, keep in mind, a live event, as I discussed last time, shouldn't be heavily edited anyway, because you want to preserve that magic of the live feel of the event. If you do too many edits, it starts to be over polished and overdone. And at that point, it starts to feel more like an asynchronous, like, pre-recorded sort of video, and nobody Nobody really wants that if what they wanted was just the more concise version of the raw recording. That's all we're basically doing here. And last time I also called that bronze or light level editing. Right? That's just to give you an idea of what we do, which is basically cutting out the beginning, the end, trimming it up, any awkward spaces. But I want to see with the clarity, first of all, let's do our retake thing, because I want to see even what that does, and let's examine that a little bit. So essentially with this video, I want to just go through the options again. I'm probably going to go through all of them each time, but maybe there's different levels of intensity that we can tweak and adjust, and there definitely is. With remove retakes, I don't believe there is an option. Yeah, it just does its thing. So let's just see what it does with this to start. And we'll kind of revisit what we talked about from the beginning. So now it's actually saying, for some reason, I'm not sure why. Is that an error? Or oh no, there, I found it. It just needed a minute. Here's some good examples of what it considers retakes, but this is more stuff that I would have thought the edit for clarity would pick up on. You know, like my double words here. I don't know if I want to cut that out because it's going to make it very choppy, right? So maybe we don't do this. It's cutting out a lot of uhs and ums, but as we discussed last time, if you haven't watched the last few videos, I highly encourage you, before proceeding with this one, pause this one, bring up another tab or whatever, or come back to this one and watch those first few videos, because you'll understand kind of the progression of what led up to all this. But basically, we do want to keep some uhs and ums. We do want to keep some filler words, because otherwise, if we're cutting out too much of this stuff, it's too abrupt. And I called it staccato, but like that's kind of what it is, staccati. You know, it's like everything is very, the cuts are very abrupt and raw and jagged, for lack of a better word. You know, we don't want that. We want smoothness. Editing is kind of like driving, where you want everything to be long, deliberate moves, nothing jerky or sudden movements. It's all about smoothness. You know, when you're applying, think of when you're applying your brake. I don't know if it's a good example, but when you're applying the brake on the car, you know, someone once told me you got to imagine that you have an egg between the brake pedal and your foot, and you can't break the egg, so you have to push just enough pressure to press down on the pedal without breaking the egg. It's kind of that same smoothness here in a digital sense, is we have to be smooth with our cuts. Now, for example, let's just watch this and see, does this work? Does it not? You know, and we didn't really do much previewing last time, so let's do that now. We're all kinds of meta now. Reality's bending in on itself, but basically I received some crucial feedback from my business partner, who's acting in the client role. He's kind of in the client seat right now. See, I don't like that. I don't like that there. The first one was okay. That one, that's the, it's when there's several of them in a row. So what we can actually do is, because that was the result of there being probably too many of these cuts sequentially, we can actually just remove that by hitting the strikeout feature here. That'll undo the proposed cut. And now let's just see if that improved things enough to even more. Acting sort of in the client role. He's kind of in the client seat right now, just as an example, so that we can work through. It's not bad, but you know what we're going to do here, we're going to discard all the edits, and I'm not going to accept these or move on to another comp, because I want to see. I didn't remember having any like more traditional or clear retakes. I didn't certainly say, hey, Descript, this is take one or take two, or let's do that again. You know, no obvious words to indicate a retake. So I just want to see if we undo that now and we do instead clarity at the low intensity, what is that going to do? If it does the same thing and it strikes out all of these filler words, then we'll know that there's no point of doing both of those. But I'm very curious to see what it does here. I'm in the habit of doing it in my stack of just sequentially one after the other. Now look at this. Even at the low level, it cut out huge chunks, entire sentences. Look at this. He's kind of in the client seat right now, as an example. So, see, like I kind of want to say that because it expresses what we're doing in our business. Is it crucial to the delivery? Is that what it's trying to tell me here? Is that what it considers blather? I know I can be long-winded sometimes. These are things to consider. The uhs and ums I'm less attached to, and I'm willing to sacrifice. See, this is the thing, guys, is am I okay with having a hard cut here? That's what it comes down to. Do I want to have the filler word, or do I want to have a hard cut there? Now, if I was doing high quality editing, super polished video manually in Vegas or Premiere. Now, let me just bring this up so you can actually see this. Well, I'm actually rendering a video, so you can't see it. Down here, instead of having whatever this is, 5 to 10 roughly cuts, I would have dozens, if not 100 or more cuts. And instead of them being hard cuts like this, like these cold cuts, we would have slight zooming in, right? Which is a technique, I forget what it's called, where you either zoom or pan from one cut to the next to make it a little bit easier on the eyes and to make it seem more like an intentional cut versus something that was clearly just to cut out filler, right? Which is annoying. So another point to be said, and I'll just drive this home really quick so we can get back to actually editing here. Another thing is the actual, I thought of this earlier, is the recording part of it. The better your recording is, the fewer filler words that you use and dead air and all these things that you have in your raw recording, the less that the AI has to do, or the less that you have to do in post to bridge all these things and to tighten it all up and to make it more appealing for the listener, for the audience. So that could include having takes. Even you don't need a clacker. You can just, with your hand, take 2, take 3. See, that makes the sound input jump up. The meter, the level goes all the way up to the top when you do that. And then it will know, or it should, we should test that at one point. Descript should know, especially if you add like take 2, it'll know that's take 2, and if you have another take after that, it will remove takes 1 and 2. I'm guessing that's how it works. I don't think it like will selectively decide, oh, take 1 sounded better to me, or have some perception of 1 being better than 2 or 2 being better than 3. I think it'll just keep your last one. So if you're saying take 1, 2, 3, and 3 was your last one that you did, it's going to keep that one, and it's going to take out the take 3 and clap and everything. It'll keep everything after that. So just a couple of little tips there that could make a big difference in the total time of the editing as well, right? And the total length of your raw recording. All things to factor in. And trust me, I understand not using filler words is difficult. It's very difficult not to lean on these words, or to not use the you knows and the uhs and the ums, or just some people just leave pregnant pauses, which is okay sometimes. You know, I can tell you as a voice actor that can be very effective in the right context, but other times it's annoying. It's kind of like people start looking at their watch, like, are you going to finish that sentence, or are you just going to leave this hang? But if I look at it now, you know, from a high level, I don't know what's prompting it to do, to remove stuff like this. Do I do abrupt cuts like that? You're going to see in the video. What made it decide to remove that? And why didn't it remove these other ones that it identified as filler word? It left those for some reason. Here as well, why did it remove that sentence? I'm actually going to discard again, and I'll tell you why. Because I think there's something else going on here. I think that if we started with, say, hold on a second here. I thought there was a third option. Edit for clarity. Remove filler words. Here it is. Let's just try this alone. And see, it's identified now 337 filler words. And a filler word could be an an like a stutter type word. It could be a word repetition. It could be an elongated word or syllable or vowel, typically. It could be unnecessarily long, pregnant pauses. It could be whatever. It could be someone like some people like they spew nonsense like I just did right now, going around in circles, right? In word circles. So let's just see. And if we scroll through here, I'm not sure why it still has some stuff struck out here. That shouldn't be the case. So let me just back up, because it seems to have applied some changes even though I didn't want it to. So I'm going to undo and undo again. And I think that got it. Yeah. Those kind of things that it wanted to remove in the retakes or clarity, whichever one it was, I don't want to remove those things right now because I want to figure out what is making it remove those things instead or in addition to the filler words. Because I just want to isolate filler words. And if it's just a matter of using this functionality here, then that's all that we need to do for this kind of editing. For the light editing. If, say, we wanted to cut out the beginning and the end, like on a typical webinar, for example, if we wanted to cut out, say, the technical walkthrough at the beginning and the handoff and have our webinar start right when the presentation begins, when the presenter gets started and receives the handoff from a producer, assuming that there is one, which often there's not, but say at the start of the presentation and then ending as they say their thank yous and goodbye at the end. Just those two cuts, plus any long dead air, more than say 3 to 5 seconds in between, any breaks or pauses, long pauses, or technical issues, we're going to remove those. That's still within the bronze or light editing category. But what if we could add removal of simple filler words to that and still have it be within our bronze package tier for people within that price range? Wouldn't that be amazing to add, or as a value add for people? I think that'd be pretty sweet. So let's just see. It's already identified 337, but I want to see is there not a way to adjust some settings? Like this is grayed out for some reason. So maybe first we need to find them. So it identified them, but let's see. Okay, now it's finding them, and it says it's gonna avoid harsh cuts, but we've seen before that that's not always the case. Certainly on our school garden webinar, that was not the case. And that's what we were both quite displeased with. But let's just see here what it does. Shouldn't take too long, and then we'll know. There's some options here as well. While it's doing that, we can delete those words. We can delete and replace them with a gap instead, which is interesting. That might leave some breathing room. I'd be interested to try that as well. We can ignore, which I don't know what that does. And then we can simply remove it from the transcript but keep it in, which is also cool. There's another use case there for, say, simply cleaning up the transcript, but somebody like Al wanting the clean, or I'm sorry, the raw version of the webinar, but the transcript be clean, right? There it is right there. There's an easy way to do that, which is pretty cool. Now, for some reason it went down to 210. I don't know why that is. Let's try this gap thing. So I'm really curious to see how well that works. And then if I just look real quick, it didn't do all of them. See, it removed some for some reason. Auto advance, preview results. I'm not sure why it decided not to remove like the doubling up of words here, the double I'm. Yeah, I don't know. So let's just do that anyway and see. What is this? Now, just as an example. Oh, I see. It's in a minute to see kind of where his. Okay, it was just showing you where, if you wanted to manually scan to make sure it's something you want to remove. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this silence thing is going to work. I suspect it's going to be too weird, because I don't know. I'm almost thinking that if it's heavy video, this is not going to be favorable unless your audience, your particular project, for whatever reason, it's okay to have rough cuts like that and a whole bunch of them. What's going on here? It's going down. Did it already remove some, maybe? I'm not sure what's going on here. Got a whole bunch on the right. Is it just going to do it? It's almost like it wants me to do it again. Okay, and now it's identified some. So why it's doing it in stages like that, I don't know. Is that the harsh cuts maybe that it's... Let's try it again. Here we go. This is removing audio for some reason, but it's also removing video, of course. Okay, so it's removed everything. And apparently it's replaced it with silence. And also it looks like it updated the script. Let's see how it is. Displeasure comes from, and I'm sure it's totally valid. But like I said last time, this speaks to why it's so crucial to review what AI does for you. It probably did way too many cuts, I'm predicting. It chopped it up so much and probably so abruptly that it became just unpalatable. And the thing is with live webinars is you want to generally keep a certain level of the live feel to it by over processing and over editing. You know what? I'm pretty happy with that for just filler word removal. I wish I could see it though still. There's probably another way to do this where it'll show it with strikeouts like it normally does. But I'm pretty happy with what I've heard so far. In the spirit of what I said last time, though, to review more intensively and scrutinize a bit more, let's listen to a few more clips just to make sure.
And the screen is yours, brother.
It is indeed incredible, but I do have to correct you, Matt.
We got some nice little banter going back and forth here. So that's the kind of stuff. Like I wouldn't want to cut that out. I would want to keep the language natural with all the uhs and ums and pauses and whatever else. It just would feel more natural that way. So this would be a perfectly acceptable place to start.
So join me in welcoming my good friend.
I heard it here, the silence thing. You can hear it, uhs and ums and pauses and whatever. Okay, so actually I don't think I like that. I'm glad we reviewed more because that shows you right there what it does, and it almost like is trying to insert room tone or something so that it's not just like complete absence of noise. Okay, now the first thing that I did was bring in, I had another little second clip. It kept that. That's good. Okay, so we're back to basically square one here. And now we know that the filler word removal was decent, but that silence thing's a bit weird, so we're not going to do that this time. I'm going to try this one more time because I really want to nail this down if we can, because for this particular type of video, this filler word removal would be perfect. Even though it is video heavy, I think we can set it. Well, let's just try. Let's just see. So again, it's identified 210 down from 300 something from before for some reason. Auto advance, I'm not sure what that means. No tooltip or anything, unfortunately. And then preview the results before I accept. I think that's been on. So let's switch this to just ignore, which I think is going to keep it on there and strike it out. That's what we want. That's what I want for this scenario. So let's try that. I'm curious to see also if there's going to be multiple rounds of this again like last time, or Looks like there might be. Okay, so it did strike out some stuff, but again, like last time, for some reason it didn't do everything. So let's try that again. Yeah, it's not sure why, but it's not removing them. I've clicked it several times now and it's not doing anything. Unless it just takes time. I'll give it another few seconds, but if not, I'm going to try, instead of ignore, I'll just go to delete. Since the strikeout thing is more of a bonus than anything to just see where the cuts are going to be and see if it missed anything or not. Let's just try it with delete and see if that makes a difference. Okay, that did work, but it still has some stuff here. I'm surprised it didn't find those this time. That's what I mean. I'm not sure what's determining all this. Seems a little inconsistent. Like, why would it give me different results if I was using this versus this or this? You'd think it'd be the same every time, but... Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't even realize this was here. Okay. So we could just do repeated words, let's say. But it still won't find them even though they're there. Okay, well it did remove some stuff. If that's the case, let's back up and let's do it the way we wanted to do it. Like that. I'm actually going to do it again to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so we're back to beginning. Back to the beginning here, so remove filler words. There's less and less every time. Huh. Something weird going on here. It's like it's not resetting it. Yeah, some of those words are gone. Huh. Weird. Okay, well this is a good example of how and why Descript may not always be the best tool. If you end up fumbling around for an hour or two, you could have got the job done in that amount of time possibly by doing it manually. Now yes, it's going to be more work, but you could make the argument that this is a lot of work too, trying to figure out what the heck's going on here. Giving me mixed results every time. 65 now, you know what I mean? So, like I almost want to start over if we can, but I don't even see an option for that. And it looks like there's still some edits here. I can see in the audio track that it looks like there's edits, or it split the scene somehow or something. Right here. Yeah. Okay, well then let's just try it. I don't know what's going on with it, but let's just try the 65 and see. Ridiculous, but... Oh, I see, yes, because we had it set to repeated words. Hello. Alright, let's turn those back on. Let's see what it finds. Be nice if it went back to 300 and something, but it didn't. Okay, fine. Let's go back to ignore. Remove. Okay. So I think the number didn't go down because technically they're still there. It's just going to ignore them in the final version, and it'll only cut it and delete it out of the exported or processed version. Now I still see some filler words there. To me, if you're going to remove some, then you might as well remove them all, or most of them. Like what's making it decide to remove this one but not this one? weird. So let's try and see if we can clean that up a little bit more. Maybe with a low level intensity clarity, I'm going to try. Or if that doesn't work, if that's too heavy on edits and too edit dense, then we'll try the retakes. Yeah, that's I can already tell. Way too much. Yeah, it's removing entire sentences. So let's not do that. Now, how do I reject? Discard all edits. It's going to work. No, it's not. I don't know why that doesn't work. Still wants to remove like huge paragraphs. Undo, discard, edits. There we go. Okay, let's try retakes and see if that works. If not, then I don't know. We're going to have to keep some of these filler words. And that's not a bad thing either. It makes it sound more organic. And that's okay. It's not, the biggest thing is it's not pulling out like huge paragraphs or sentences here anymore. If it leaves a couple uhs and ums in there for flavor, that's okay. We'll keep that. But let's see if we did just that. Just the filler words and the remove retakes. I'm curious to see what it identifies as retakes here. So let's see how that turned out. Let's go back to the top and see if it removed any of the additional filler words and doubling up words, duplicates. Nope. Now, of course, I can come in here and do this manually. But if I have to come and do it manually, then what's the point of doing this thing, right? And it's not like there's no intensity setting. There's just, there's just which words to use to remove, but there's no intensity like the clarity thing. So that's what I mean. You got to find like some happy medium. Maybe for this video, this is all I'm going to do. Right? I'll just keep this. There'll be some filler words, but it's remove most of them. But not to the point where they're abrupt cuts. Like, that's too annoying for somebody to watch because there's just too many of them. Like, let's just try this paragraph right here and see what does this sound like, or what does this look like. So something in the middle. Of course, deliver what the client is paying for. You have to match that level of quality with what is being compensated for. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with going a little bit further for the client. Those are the differentiators that really will allow the client to see you as the gem that you are. And that's what will keep them coming. That's decent. And I kind of like that it left a little, when I was struggling to find my word, like that's a natural thing to just pause, and some of those pauses, some of those filler words are okay to keep in there. Like if you look at the number of them that it removed versus the number that it kept in, say, this chunk right here, right? This paragraph it removed 3, but it kept 1. This one here, it removed 1, but it kept 1. This one here didn't remove or keep anything. Maybe there was none. This one here, it kept 2 and removed none. So it's kind of varying it up in such a way that maybe the cuts are less noticeable. Certainly they're less noticeable than that one webinar video that I made where I did everything. That just didn't scrutinize it enough. And it's also cutting off the ones at the beginning that are the most noticeable and the easiest to fix. So I'm going to try and go ahead with this one and we'll see what it produces. But like, just for the sake of reviewing just a little bit more, let's just listen to this part here in the middle. Coming back because they're going to want to work with you, not just some faceless business. Yes. They're going to want it. Thank you for that sales pitch there, Matt. But right now I want to see Where were we? I just wanted to grab something out of the middle. Okay, here's a good example. I'm glad I caught this. So this is a big chunk that it's removing here. Whoa, what happened there? Let's try that again. I think my numlock was... Okay, so that, though it's not filler word, that could be a remnant of the retake that just didn't get... Sometimes it just doesn't undo stuff, so keep that in mind. But that's not a bad thing when it removed. So again, this speaks to having to just review the proposed edits closely, examine it, scrutinize it, make sure you're happy with it. Let's just listen to this here maybe. I assume that you have some basic understanding of how video editing works. For anybody that's really rudimentary that you're watching because you want to expose yourself to this kind of stuff, fine. There's probably other videos on my channel, actually, on my Matt Leger channel or on Maple Grove. See, that's funny because that's one thing that I wanted to remove completely. Like this all can be removed probably. Yeah. I'm going to go with this because I like the balance of filler word removal with what it kept in. It seems to have caught some stuff that I didn't even think of to remove. What's this here? Not sure why, or this is okay, that's just blather. So see, even there's some overlap here, guys. Let me copy this to a new comp and we'll just start working with it from there. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely some overlap. So I don't know that there's value in doing it as a stack versus knowing which one's best to do for what video and when. It's situational. Versus maybe it's just a matter of tweaking and just using some in combination with others, but others by themselves. So there's a lot of experimentation that has to be done here. I'm still trying to figure it out. If you've done more experimentation and you've cracked the nut on it, please do share with everybody so the whole community as a whole can learn. But otherwise, I'll let you guys know in future videos once I've found a nice Goldilocks zone of like, for webinar recordings, do this, or for like your average YouTube video, do this, or for general all-purpose, do this, right? So I'll figure all that out, and I'll let you know in future episodes. But you saw just now, that simple stack of just two things was quite effective. Even just the one thing, which I think was remove retakes, right? So maybe, or sorry, remove filler words was the one. Or maybe it's just these two that will work best for you, right? So, or just one, or none. And none, well then go back to your editing program. And there could be a case for that too, right? So now I know, for example, like this one here that I edited, re-edited myself earlier, that's the way I'm going to do those kind of recordings. When Al and I put on a recording, I'm going to take the half an hour to an hour, because it really didn't take that long, to get that done manually and make sure that it's got my seal of approval on it and it's fully polished to my liking. Versus something like this, these sort of training walkthrough videos on Descript and just figuring things out at the granular level, this very well could be a great use case for Descript to just remove some of those filler words and just tighten it up a little bit. Matter of fact, I wanted the video to be about an hour long, and we're just over an hour. So if I make some more minor edits somewhere, like I did with that one section that I wanted to remove completely, if I find another opportunity like that, that'll cut it down by another 19 seconds, or that might be, is that, yeah, 19 seconds. So if I can shave off another 20 seconds, we'll be under an hour, and then I'll be good to go. Because I definitely want these to be under an hour if possible. So there you go. That's what I'm going to do here now with the rest of this video. I wanted to show you actually what this video that I'm editing now in Descript might be like in something like Vegas or Premiere, but there's not really anything to show you there that you don't already know. I would basically be doing, this is a really good point to drive home and to end things with. So if I was doing all of this stuff manually, first of all, it could be done, sure, but our ratio would be roughly for every 1 hour of recording, we'd be looking at anywhere from 5, 6, even 7 hours of post-production work. I've edited videos like this that were 2 and 3 hour long webinar recordings where there were no webcams really, other than like intros and outros. People came on the camera real quick. Otherwise, webcams weren't involved, so it was just PowerPoint presentations. But they wanted every single filler word, word gap, retake, everything, like the full treatment, what we might consider gold to platinum level, right? Tier 3 or 4 out of 4. So they wanted like the full treatment, as well as audio corrections and optimizations and transitions and the full kit. That you could spend, do the math, for every 1 hour, let's say on average, best case scenario, 5 hours for every 1 hour of webinar recording. And you might think that's a lot, but that includes like the processing time, your export, your publishing, your authoring, your compression of the final version to get it down to a manageable size for usage in an LMS. That could include transcripts, SCORM wrapping, putting it in a course basically. Could include transcripts, subtitles, captions, all those good things. Yeah, and every project's different, right? So you need to tailor your workflow for that particular project also. So there's a lot to say, there's a lot to do, there's a lot that we could look at in future videos. So I'm really leaving it to you now, now that we've gone through all of this and you understand how it works and how there's advantages on both sides of using AI versus not using AI. I'm really going to leave it up to you to decide where we go from here. If you've had enough information, that's it. I'll assume, if I don't hear any feedback from anybody, that you have enough information in this area. If you do want more, if you want more specialized training on this stuff in this area, let me know what particular subject you'd like me to drill down in more, and we'll look at that in the future. Like if you want to look at each one of these a little bit further in Descript and figure out particular use cases, and maybe we can even draft up like a quick case study on one of or more than one of them, or any combination as a stack. We can look at other features here again. I've covered all this on other videos, but if you want to look more at some of these features, we can do that. Different other areas that we haven't looked at as much, like properties, elements, captions. I've used and pretty much mastered all of these now, so I'm happy to share how to put different clips together, how to overlap, how to combine them, all these good things, transitions, effects. We can look at that, or we could look at more manual editing through Vegas or Premiere or DaVinci or whatever. I'm platform app agnostic, so whatever it is you put in front of me, I'll figure it out and I'll work with it, because all of these programs for the most part do the same thing. You can accomplish the same thing with any app that's worth its salt will allow you to do basically the same thing that its competitor will do, right? That's sort of the point. But there's some obviously that do it better than others. Like you can do way more with Premiere than you could with Vegas, for example, but Premiere is a little bit steeper of a learning curve, right? So it really depends. I would suggest you learn something like Vegas or Camtasia if you're just getting started with your video editing or multimedia production. Start with something easier. You can definitely do better than like Windows Movie Maker. I know that was popular for a long time with a lot of people that were novice or even amateur video editors, but there's better stuff out there. There's open source options now. There's even AI editing, as we saw with not just Descript, but other things that are coming to the table as well. But anyway, let me know if you want to see more of that kind of stuff, like the manual work, the really premium stuff that an actual professional needs to get involved with. And again, I feel like I need to reiterate this and really emphasize there's no danger of AI taking any jobs away. If you're in this space, if you're a multimedia producer, if you're a content developer, or even a course designer, instructional designer, there's no threat there to you. I just want to make this very clear. AI is a tool. It's an assist for you. It's not threatening your job in any way. Look at the results of an AI product. And not even the slop, like people talk about AI slop. Yeah, okay. There's lots of it out there for sure. But look at the stuff that's like halfway decent that it makes. There's still some major flaws in it that you wouldn't have as a professional, as a freelancer, let's say, or as a contractor, or as an active professional. You wouldn't make those mistakes. Just it would take you longer, and you'd be basically exchanging time for money. And nobody really wants to do that, especially not when you can have a product that could do it for you. But unfortunately, that product is never going to be as good as the human who does it better, because the human has the creative aspect, has the touch of the divine, if you will, and the AI just doesn't have that. What I like to say is, and it's so true, is that the AI is putting a spotlight on human innovation and human creativity. It's not a threat. It's actually helping us in a lot of ways, because those of us in this space who are the professionals, who are the freelancers, will be able to offer a premium rate, even more than what we do now, because our product, our final product, our service is so much better than what AI can make. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's not always going to be the case. Yeah, you're right. But for now, and in this day and age, what we make is still way better, like leaps and bounds better. Make a PowerPoint presentation if you're good at that, if that's your craft, or if you're a good designer or something like that. Make a nice infographic, and then have ChatGPT try to do the same thing for you and see which one's better. Find the best possible course authoring software, AI-powered course authoring software out there. Make a course yourself as a professional, as an instructional designer, and then go have AI, the best AI out there right now. Go have it do the same thing that you just did and see which one's better. And you won't be surprised by the results. Trust me. And then you'll understand why I'm saying that the professionals are going to be able to command a way higher premium even than they did before, even than now, compared to before. Because, right? Now, where's the middle ground? The middle path, as it were, is what I always try to find. It's using the AI, leveraging the appropriateness of the AI technology in your premium work. Now I'm standing above the competitors, right? Or you don't even have to compare yourself to anybody anymore. Now your unique offering, your unique product, your unique service is exponentially better than it was before, because now you have AI backing you up on it, helping you with quality assurance and innovation and pushing boundaries and being that much closer to what your client wanted in a final product. And your digital assets are just that much better. It's like AI can be the icing on the cake, can be the cherry on top even, if you know how to use it and if you know how to leverage it. It's not, as we've discovered, let me just go back to it for a quick second just to emphasize this point, but as we've discovered, it doesn't work to simply say, okay, Descript, do this, and I'm going to call it good and just export it and thank you very much and call it a day. It doesn't work that way. If you want to know what happens with that, if you do that, you can look at the School Garden webinar editing that I have on my channel. That I'm gonna change the wording on it so that it shows like that it's a before type of video, and then this one here or the one that I'm rendering right now is gonna be the after version. It'll say that in the description, like watch this new version instead, like some people do. I'm gonna probably take that same approach, but I'm gonna leave it up. I'm not gonna delete it or replace it, because I want you to see what happens when you made the mistake that I did and you don't scrutinize your final product enough after AI has done its thing with it. And that could be anything. That could be a picture, that could be ChatGPT copy or text that it made for you. It could be an app that you think, oh, it looks real good on the outside. The user interface is fantastic, but it's actually, as soon as someone actually goes to use it, like this is very common for vibe coders that create apps that involve like payment programs, and then they don't think through the long term of like, is this going to work for everyone? Is this going to work for all payment methods or internationally? Like, is this going to work on the back end the way that it was intended once it's actually live in production? So that to say that AI is, first of all, it's not a threat, and to be honest with you, it's not that great right now. Like it's still It's getting better, yes, but it's in no position to be replacing these kind of careers. Like if you think that the AI tools, the AI video generation programs out there are going to put you out of business, then you don't understand how bad they are. They're not great. Some of them are fantastic for little clips, right? Do these little things. Find me an example out there of any editing software that can do a better job than you can, than I can, with a tool like Premiere or DaVinci or whatever, Vegas or whatever you use. It doesn't matter. It could be Camtasia. It could be Windows Movie Maker could probably do a better job. Maybe not. But you get what I'm saying. It doesn't have the eye. It doesn't have the creativity. It doesn't have the sense of discernment, the ability to make judgment calls on things that you can. There's no threat here. Okay? I'm going to stop harping about this, but I want to make that clear. AI is not a threat. It is a tool that you can leverage, and I would suggest you learn, because otherwise you're kind of falling behind in a way. You're behind the curve. But you can learn. It's very easy and it's very helpful, and it can support you in your business in ways you couldn't even imagine. Look into agents, for example, AI agents, what they can do now. There's a great use case for AI technology, but it's in no way a threat to you. It's not going to take your job. If anything, it makes you look better, and thank it, because it is the gift that we've all been waiting for, because it's going to increase our wages and it's going to increase our ability to command a higher premium for our services. Why? Because they're human powered services that are going to be more and more in demand compared to this mediocre at best AI designed content. It can't hold a candle to what humans can do even now, and for the foreseeable future that will continue to be the case. Prove me wrong. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see examples of an AI editing program that could do a better video, or filler word removal that doesn't go nuts and take away the whole human aspect behind it. There's good examples, there's bad examples, there's in between, and it's really up to you as the artist in all this, as the technical wizard, sorcerer that you are. Sorcerer is maybe a heavy word, but the tech wizard that you are, the techno shaman, there you go. As the techno shaman, it's up to you to be discerning and to figure out, what am I going to use, and when is good enough is good enough, and then when is too much too much. Very important to figure those things out. Anyway, I will end it at that and not belabor the point any further. I think that does us a good example there. We could probably wrap up this series for now. So unless you have any specifics, like I said, that you want to look at in Descript or in editing programs, I'm going to call this series a wrap, because I think you understand now at a very high level and a very micro level as well what we can do here with Descript and what it can't do for you very effectively anyway, and where you're still going to need to do some work and exchange dollars for services. Unfortunately, there will come a day. There will come a day where we can productize these type of services. We're just not there right now, and that's not a bad thing, because as I said, now our premiums will go up, and we can still leverage AI to help us do what we need to do and be the best that we can be for our client, and even exceed expectations. That's what we want. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you appreciated the video and you got some value out of it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you as always for your viewership. I appreciate you, and I'd like to see you next time. So join me then. See ya.